Alright, so I was going to wait till next week to talk about tablet sizes and screen sizes and resolutions, but you know what, this is on my mind and it's got me a little bit irritated, so I'm going to talk about it right now. Two things. First is the possibility of a 4-inch screen on the next iPhone, along with the possibility of what they're calling an iPhone Nano. Okay? The other thing is going to be about the different sizes of tablets. So, first thing, iPhone. We had our standard resolution with iPhone 2G, 3G, 3GS. Now, the 4 came out with this Retina display, which was twice the pixels on the long side, twice the pixels on the short side, 2x2. We've got 4 times the resolution. Okay? It's okay because it was exactly double on each side, so it wasn't that difficult for developers to come up with this. What they did was, and then initially they did some pixel doubling. We basically just stuffed colors into places so we don't have holes, right? Let's keep it simple, right? Double pixels, okay? And then all these apps have been re-released for Retina display. So as it stands right now, most developers who are staying reverse engineered for older iPhones, 3GS and prior, have to maintain 2 versions of their app, standard res and high res. So the iPhone 4 comes out, iPhone 5 comes out with a 4-inch screen. Now we're going to have another resolution, that makes 3. iPhone Nano comes out, like people are speculating. Another, that makes 4 resolutions. Why can't we just stuff it full of pixels? Because there's a thing called aspect ratio. You may not really know much about this, so I'm going to take a minute to explain. Here's how that works. You print photos, and they might print in 4x6 or 8x10, whatever the standard sizes are for frames and things, right? You got a camera, like some of these SLR cameras, that do 8x12. Well, 8x10 and 8x12 are 2 different sizes, so what do you got to do? You've got to crop a little piece out. Where you're really familiar with this is on your TV. Movies have always been in widescreen, 16:9. Multiples of 16 by multiples of 9 on the screen size. Home TVs have always been 4x3. So what did you get when you would take a movie on DVD and watch on your home TV? Those annoying black bars that go across the top, right? We called it letterbox. So sometimes we'd have TVs or DVD players that would stretch it. Now you've got a distorted picture. If it didn't stretch it, and it still filled your screen, it was cutting out the sides. So that's what you have to do with photos or TV. You have to either stretch your image or crop your image. Those are your choices. Different aspect ratios don't make sense. Apple's not going to want it because it's going to turn away developers. Developers are not going to want it because it's a pain in the ass. Okay? Customers are not going to want it because they don't want to see distorted images or pieces of their application missing if it gets cropped out. So different resolutions not going to happen. So come June, if the Worldwide Developers Conference, you can absolutely forget a 4-inch iPhone or an iPhone Nano. Maybe a cheaper one with a lighter spec sheet, we'll see. But different screen reses, not going to happen. Until we can double the resolution again, or we have an iPhone that's much bigger. But until then, not going to happen. Okay? So there's the iPhone situation. That's squared away. Let's talk about tablets. Okay? People say that the 7-inch tablets, like the Streak and whatever else, the Galaxy, Samsung's Galaxy S tab, people say that they're more portable. Why are they more portable? Can I put them in my pocket? No. I have to hold it in my hand, right? Like this. Same way I hold my iPad. How is that more portable? I hold one, I hold the other. I don't see the difference. And nobody can explain this to me. So they're not more portable. Can't put them in my pocket. Just can't do it. You want something to put in your pocket? Get a phone. And not a giant Evo phone or a Droid X. That's basically like holding a tablet up to the side of your face. Okay? So I did some number crunching here. To have a 9.7-inch screen, because what you got to remember is the screen's measured on the diagonal, just like TVs that we've been doing since like 1950 something, right? We have to have roughly a 6-inch by 8-inch screen, 6 by 8, right? That gives us 6 by 8, 48 square inches of usable screen real estate, roughly. Okay? I'm rounding just to make sense of this whole thing. To have a 7-inch, we have to have roughly 4.5 by 5.3. 4.5 by 5.3. Okay? When you do 4.5 by 5.3, you end up with about 23, 24 square inches. So it sounds like it's only a 3-inch difference. It sounds like it's a couple $100 cheaper. But it's 24 square inches of usable screen real estate as opposed to 48. That is half. You're getting half the screen size when you think about it. It doesn't look that way to you because it's just shrunk on the diagonal by a little bit. But if usable space, usable pixels, places to put things in the app, you only have half as much room. Steve Jobs made a comment on his third quarter earnings call, which really makes a lot of sense. Your screen's shrunken by half, but your fingers are the same size. Try typing like this. I can't reach the keys because they're too fucking close together because my screen's half the size. Talk about cramped. Are you kidding? So you can talk about references and rumors and what I've heard and what makes sense and, Galaxy and the Streak and the Playbook and the HP Touch and the Slate and whatever the hell else. They give me options. Yeah? They better have a real great option for an external keyboard. Now you got to carry a keyboard and a tablet. There's portability for you. 2 devices. In the day of converged devices, you got to carry more than one to make it work right. So forget the rumors. Doesn't make any sense. Let go of it. Move on. These are numbers. Here, look at this mess. I got fucking triangles and I'm calling up 10th graders in geometry class to try to figure out the Pythagorean theorem that I haven't seen in 20 years. Okay? But it's here. It's all added up. It all makes sense. 24 or 48 inches. Okay? And maybe it's 23.85 by 47.65. I don't know. I'm rounding to get a basic idea. If I'm missing an inch here or there, so maybe it's only 49% smaller instead of 50% smaller. You're losing a ton of screen space. So, here's the point. Once again, don't believe everything you hear. Don't scream and yell about why one's better than the other when numbers clearly prove it's not. And then ask yourself, even if you could live with half the screen real estate, why? What does it do for you? Where can you put this tablet that you can't put on an iPad? How can you move it that you can't move an iPad? Okay? You want to save the money? If it's all about the money, go for it. I understand budgeting. But if it's really about portability, you don't make any sense. If it's really about not that big of a difference in screen size, you don't make any sense. Okay? There's the long and short of it. You're not going to see any extra usability out of a 7-inch tablet. You're not going to see an iPhone 5 with a 4-inch screen, and you're not going to see an iPhone Nano. Simply not going to happen. Okay? Get it together. Once again, use your heads. And the way things are going, I really see another rant next week. Because there's more than enough to rant about out there. Because people just don't use the information in front of them. Okay? So, hopefully, no more geometry for me next week, but more to talk about. We'll see you then.